Oh, hello. Well, today you find me washing my bike. But no, I'm not going to make a video of me actually washing the bike. I mean, nobody really makes a video of them washing the bike, do they? Certainly we'd never wash the bike while trying to play the saxophone. That would just be not a great video, would it? Link in the description if you want to see the full video of me actually washing the bike and playing the saxophone. Now today I'm going to wash the bike, but what I'd like to do is while I'm washing the bike, I'd like to share with you all the accessories and how I remove each accessory. And invariably through the removal of each accessory, I'll hopefully share with you how to and the best way to remove and add accessories. If you hadn't added any yet, you might find this kind of quite useful to help you. What I'll also do with each item that I remove, I'll talk through what I thought of it. I've had some of them about 2 years, some 3 years, so there's a fair bit of experience. So I'll share with you what I found advantageous or disadvantageous, or just my thoughts on each of the items. Meantime, I will wash the bike, and hopefully my Meteor 350 will be in showroom condition. So if you're interested in looking and seeing the accessories that I've removed, what I thought about them, stick around with me, musician on a motorbike. So here I've managed to capture some final images of my bike complete with all the accessories that I've added in over the years, which I've loved. The first one that I'm going to remove is the tank bag. Now I just want to say that some people kind of question the tank bag as to whether it was of real value because it's not very big, and other people have questioned whether it would scratch the tank. Well, I can assure you, not only has it not scratched the tank, but actually it protected it once when I had a ladder in the garage fall on the tank, so it really has earned its place. And in terms of the size, perfect for what I need to carry around with me. Now, how easy is it to remove the magnetic tank bag? Well, let me demonstrate. There we go. Strong magnets. I've had it almost 3 years and I've been up and down the motorway. It's absolutely superb. Now, there are some very well advertised mobile phone holders that I'm sure we're all familiar with that are excellent. But I went for a cheap Amazon solution. This Lamacell mobile phone holder just cost me 15 UK pounds and it's been great. It's actually secure on the handlebars and there's a lock at the back that makes sure the mobile phone doesn't slip out. And you can see how easy it is to remove. So I've been using this, removing it from the bike when I'm in any public place, and it's been great. It's really been helpful to have that on the handlebars. The next thing that I've not really used that much, to be honest with you, this is the actual handlebar mount for my Ghost XL. The Ghost XL is the camera that I keep on my headphone. Although I've made some YouTube videos with it, it was never designed to be a main camera. It was purely designed as like a dash cam equivalent, and it sits on my helmet, and that's great. When I first bought it, I did get the handlebar mount because I thought it might be nice to have it there as well. But in all honesty, it's not really being used until recently when I bought my DJI Action 5 Pro camera. It just gave me a different angle on the bike, so I could actually place the Ghost XL in this bracket and then it faced towards me, just to try and make me look a bit more interesting than I actually am. You might have seen it in the last video where I took some video of myself. Now those are very simple items that I've removed. Now for the purposes of this video, almost all accessories I've managed to utilize the toolkit. So if ever you want to get access to the toolkit, you just unlock it and there's just a couple of rubber grommets that pop out. I'm sure most people have found this, but here's the toolkit. I've kept the plastic bag because I thought it'd give it an extra layer of protection, so I never disposed of it, and it's also just a shame to put it into the waste unnecessarily. So yes, I'm going to try and just utilize these. There's only a few other tools that I needed to use. Now this tool is something that comes in the toolkit that helps you undo the kind of Allen style keys that hold the left hand side panel on. Now the reason I'm removing this is because I'm going to be removing the open air cover and replacing it with the stock air filter cover. There's been much debate about whether it makes any difference or not. I know that I think it was Hitchcock's actually made a video a while ago where they put an open air cover and a DNA filter. They actually used the DNA cover and the DNA filter, and they put it onto a machine and linked it up, and they estimated, I think it was about 2 brake horsepower or so. So we're not talking a huge amount, but for a bike of this power you do notice a difference. So in my opinion, this was a really worthwhile accessory. What I actually did was I rode it around. I did about 1200, 1300 miles before I put it on because I wanted the bike to be fully running, and I rode around with it for about a year, and just out of interest I took it off and put the old stock one back on, and I did notice a difference. It kind of does 2 things. One is it makes it a bit louder because it's taking more air in. You kind of like to get a bit more noise, and that's not for everyone. I actually quite like it, I don't mind it. And in terms of actual performance, yeah, I really did notice a subtle difference. It's so subtle, you know, if a couple of 8 brake horsepower isn't a lot, but it does make a difference. So I think these are great additions for the Meteor 350 and the Classic. It's the same cover. I know they do them from all bikes. Now, you'll notice here that I'm just using the stock air filter. I was never convinced that the air filter itself would make much difference. Now, I know some will say there are technicalities and reasons why it's better to buy that, but really what I was buying and what people are buying is you're buying a hole. Because you can see here with the stock one that I'm just about to put back in, it's kind of like a snorkel. So it still gets air, but just a bit more restrictive with the air filter. So it's very easy to swap over, as you can see. There's just the 3 holes that the actual air filter lines up with, and there are just the 3 screws that actually hold it into place. So a very simple procedure, nothing too complex here. And as we all love tinkering with our bikes, this is just one of those that's worth doing. Now, I didn't buy the DNA one, I actually used Hitchcock's own open air filter, because I think what they've done is they've actually taken, I don't know this, but I think they've taken some of these snorkel ones and just machined down the top, so effectively giving you a hole. Now, why did I buy theirs and not just create my own? Because I could have drilled this out. Well, I wanted to do this. I wanted to put it back to stock when I returned the bike and when I sold it. And you can see the screwdriver I'm using is also from the toolkit that comes with the bike. So no specialist tools in any of this really. Now you'll notice that there's a little metal thing that sticks out in the top right hand corner I'm pointing out there, and then you've got a little rubber kind of female that meets the male on the actual side panel. I wanted to point those out because when you remove it you need to be mindful of the metal hook that sticks into a rubber kind of thing on the side panel. It's not difficult, just a little bit fiddly, and it just needs a little wiggling. I know some people put Vaseline and things on these to kind of help them, but it slips in and out easily enough, and it's actually, I'd rather it was firm. So both that corner and the bottom rubber one are in securely, and then as you can see I just do up the 2 screws on the side panel, and that is how easy it is to replace, well, an air filter if you're doing the air filter. And of course the open air cover, which is what I've been doing with this bike. In terms of adjustment, it's the ECU can sort itself out. I normally leave it running for several minutes just to allow it to tick over, just to adjust to the different airflow. Never ever felt anything, never missed a beat, always found it's okay. Now, one of the best accessories I ever had was the touring saddle. I remember going on a ride once on the bike to the coast, and it was a pretty sore ride after a couple of hours, so I thought I'd go for the touring saddle. So obviously I've kept the original stock saddle, which was hardly used, in the box that I brought that I purchased the touring saddle in, so it looks in showroom condition because it pretty much is. Now there's an Allen key that you need to remove the back bars and the headrest, the backrest. So this is stock. Now here's a tip that I found. When I first put the touring saddle on, I removed the whole of that back end. It was just a bit fiddly. But what I learned is you don't need to. You literally loosen all 4 bolts, but you only need to actually remove the front 2. The reason why will become obvious in a moment. But simply put, by removing the front 2 bolts, by removing the back 2, you can just simply tilt the rear seat backwards. And by tilting the rear seat backwards, you expose the 2 bolts that hold the saddle in. So you see, you don't need to take the whole back off, and it just saves a lot of hassle and makes it a bit quicker. Now the touring saddle itself I found absolutely superb. I could ride further, longer, without the same pain on my posterior. So I would recommend this. If you're going to be doing long rides, I would recommend trying it. Some people have said they found it too firm, but I think that's the point of a touring saddle. Its firmness is what helps, but each to their own. Obviously, each to their own. Now, when you swap it out, what you can just see me doing is putting a metal kind of, it's like a kind of a washer with a little cylinder attached to it. You need to take those out from the stock saddle and put them into the touring saddle, and I've just done vice versa, the opposite. So I've removed them from the touring saddle and put them back in this. And then once that's lined up, there's a little lip at the front of the saddle which you saw me probably looking at, that you have to line up. So the front lines up, hooks in, and then just simply 2 bolts at the back. And those are just done up with a socket set. It's a 10mm socket. This is one of the few times that I needed a tool that's not included in the stock set. I think there is a spanner, but as you can see, getting access to that from this height, it's much better if you do have a socket set here. And then I just do those up. Now some people might suggest that you might want to put some Loctite on here. Quick disclaimer, I'm not saying this is how you should do things. I'm just saying it's how I found it and it's how I do things. You know, complete disclaimer, you really should seek advice, and I'm sure that most of the people watching this already know what they're doing. You just kind of, it's handy to see what it looks like before you set about doing it. Similarly with these bolts, as I put them back into the seat, much easier to line up because the rear 2 were already in place. Again, some people would probably suggest using a bit of Loctite, and certainly make sure that they are done up super tight, because those are going to be holding the pillion seat on the back of the bike and the bars to hold on to. But very easy, nothing complicated really so far. Right, 13mm spanner, which is what I was showing there, and removal of the fly screen. So I've actually I created a video when I put this fly screen together, and you will find that there's a link to that. I'll put that in the comment section, the original video. It was not difficult, took a bit of time, but it was quite enjoyable. I put the whole thing together in the comfort of my own conservatory and then mounted it to the bike. And what you can see I'm doing here is I'm just undoing the 13mm nut, and then using the Allen key, the same one that I used to remove the bars on the rear seat, just to undo it. Bit fiddly because they're quite long bolts, but really not complicated again. And when I put this back in its box, I'm going to keep it whole, so that because I'm going to sell these items, these are all for sale, and so I'll keep it in the box pretty much put together. And that whole fly screen comes off, and as you can see, most of the brackets are together. There's just the little bits at the end. Quick comment on the fly screen. I think it's a great accessory. I purely bought it for cosmetic purposes, but it did help shield a little bit from my front. Now, unlike the fly screen, the headlamp peak was purely cosmetic. Serves zero purpose whatsoever. But I just love that little nod to the classic, really. I always love the classic, love the comfort of the Meteor, and I just like the peak headlamps of bikes of old. So I bought one and treated myself and put it in. Now the best thing to do is, as you can see, there's 2 screws to remove. Then you just mind the lip at the top, which I'll point out now in the headlamp. That just slides out, and then there's 2 connectors to remove. There's the main and dip beam, and then there's also the side light, which has just got a little catch. The main one just pulls out. This one you need to remove the catch carefully. And there we have the headlamp. I originally did this in the winter. I did it in the living room where it was cosy and warm, but obviously we're approaching summer now, which is quite nice. Now once you've removed the headlamp, you'll see in the back there are some clips, some metal clips. There are several of these dotted around the lamp equally. Not difficult, can be a little bit fiddly. I use, this is again a tool that's not included in the bike toolkit, just some thin nose pliers, and they came out. And you can just see that literally, you need to physically see it, but it's just a very simple clip. When I put the peak on, a couple of people did ask in the comments if I could add a video as to how I installed it. Well, I wasn't going to take it out to do that again, so here I am. The removal is obviously the opposite of the installation. So you just remove these, obviously, quite simple. They just clip out, they're kind of hooked underneath. And once you've removed the last one, the lamp is loose enough so that the chrome circle can be moved back from the lamp, and then the peak just simply pops out. Now the one I've got here is a stainless steel. There are a couple of others. I got this on the Hitchcock's website. There are 2 others. There are two cheaper ones. They don't mention being stainless steel, so I'm not sure how they'd rust or how they'd fare, but this was the more expensive, the nicer one, and it's literally, it's as good as the day it was new. And then putting the lamp back together, as you can imagine, is just simply putting those clips back into place. And I've edited this down because it's a bit boring to watch. Some of them were a bit fiddly, but it wasn't hard. It's just a bit of patience and you get them all in place. And there they are. Headlamp is now ready to reinstall back on the bike. Reverse of removal, simply pop in the headlights. That clips into place. The side light, and then of course the main and dip beam just pushes on the back. It's quite simple, nothing complicated. Once again, make sure that the top lip is hooked under the piece on the insert there for the headlamp, and it does sit in place. Now before I screwed it up, I just wanted to check that they were working. So first of all, the side light, which works with the ignition, and I could see that came on, so that obviously is good. Then you have to start the engine to see the dipped and the main beam. So you can see there the dip beam, which is looking good. Then I try the main beam. Yep, that's fine, on and off. And then I try the pass button, which puts both on at the same time. So yeah, all good. Then of course the 2 screws at the front, and those just go in each side. Very, very simple operation. The most difficult part of this was really removing the clips, and as I say, they were more fiddly than complicated. So you can see that I've used most of the tools, but some of them are still in their original wrapping that I've not used. The only other one that I haven't used in this video that I've used is the suspension. I did a video on that a while ago. I know it's not super mechanical, but people like me are. When I got this bike, I wasn't the most mechanical and I was figuring stuff out, which is why I made a video. It's had 15,000 views, which is quite surprising, but I think it just shows that we're all learning together with these bikes. I've been grateful for people who have put YouTube videos together, so hopefully I'm passing on that benefit that I've gained. So yeah, put the tool case back in the bag. It then slots back into its little home, and then the little rubber strap that holds around it, just keeping it securely there. Now on this one there are two kind of pieces, but this one has three, one in the top right and left hand corner. There's two rubber ones, and then the third piece is the lock itself. So again, I haven't used Vaseline or anything, the rubbers are really good condition. They may do after they've aged a bit, but this just pops in. Once I've got the click there, I know that's secure, and then I get the same on the top right hand corner, and then I just push down at the bottom, and then the lock holds it in place. And that is as simple as it is to add in the side panel. And there we are. That is my trusty beloved Meteor, which I am going to miss dearly when it goes back. But it is now back to factory default. Everything is as it was. I did notice as I was taking the thing apart that it did look rather dirty, but I have been using it. That's what bikes are for. So as I introduced at the beginning of the video, I'm going to wash it. I won't show you all of that, but hopefully by the end of this video I'll be able to show you a nice clean motorcycle ready to head towards Hatfield to Crowthorne and be ready for its new owner once I pick up my new Super Meteor 650. So there we are. The bike has now been washed. I would say for the last time, but I haven't actually heard from Hatfield yet about when my new Super Meteor 650 is due in. So I've removed the accessories, the bike is now clean. Chances are I'll ride it a little still. I might give it another wash just before it goes in, so it really is in good condition. But I hope you've enjoyed the video today. I hope that was useful. Those accessories have been a great addition to the bike, and they really add character. But as each of us own these bikes, we make it our own by what we add to it. So those are just my things. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please consider liking. And if you want to stick around and find out more of my adventures on my Meteor 350 as it goes back to the showroom, and as I then collect, hopefully soon, my Super Meteor 650, then consider subscribing. In the meantime, ride safe, take care, stay well, and thanks again for joining me, musician on a motorbike.